Going up 200 points on the SAT in 1 month is really, really hard to do, but it's possible. It's going to take hard work and dedication, but this video is all about showing you exactly what kind of study plan you need to implement in order to make that happen. Hey guys, Laura Whitmore here with STP, and I'm so excited to share this video with you today. If you are ready to take my 200 point challenge, put in the comments below 200 points. And make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, because I come out with very helpful videos to make your SAT score exactly what you need it to be so you can get into your dream school. I should note this video is for both the paper SAT test and the digital SAT test. All right, guys, so in week 1, the first thing you need to do is go back through previous tests or previous practice tests and analyze for weaknesses. Are you noticing patterns and types of questions you're getting wrong? This is your time to figure that out, because you want to hone in on the areas that you're weaker in to make this 1 month prep plan as efficient as possible. For instance, if you are already amazing on the grammar questions and crushing them, why are you going to devote any time this month to doing that? That makes no sense. So make sure that you are focused on the questions you need to focus on, that you need to improve in. Okay, also in week 1, you need to set your goal. So determine what you need to get to go up 200 points. So if you're a paper test student, this is really easy. Just go to a conversion chart, like from practice test 1, and look at your numbers. The raw score is how many questions you got right, and then you can go over and see the scaled score. So if you're trying to get, let's say, a 700 on the English, then you should look to see how many questions you need to get right to get a 35 scaled score on writing and a 35 scaled score on reading. All right, but the digital SAT is a little bit trickier, so we need to talk about that now. How are you gonna know how many you can miss? This algorithm is so wonky and all over the place. And I agree with you guys, it seems like from month to month, every time a new test is released, the scoring changes a little bit. I would say overall, typical rule of thumb is an easier question is gonna be worth about 10 points, and a harder question is gonna be worth about 30 points. So if you're trying to get a 700 plus, general rule of thumb is you can't really miss more than about 5 questions per half of the test. Well, why is that, Laura? I mean, that doesn't seem really fair. Only 5 questions? Yes, I know what you're thinking, but there's a lot less questions on the digital SAT than the paper test, so you have way less wiggle room. All right, so once you've determined your weaknesses and set a goal, go to College Board's question bank. Guys, this question bank is amazing. It was released right before the August SAT, and you can go and filter to what types of questions you want to work on. You can do it for the digital SAT or the paper SAT. So start practicing as many of the same type of question as you can over and over again. I would say each day for week 1, you should be working on at least 3 different categories of questions per day. Now, if you're very busy and you're out and about, then definitely supplement this with the Preply app, because you also can practice certain categories of questions from the palm of your hand. Now, if you're scoring less than a 600, you should really start focusing on the easy and medium difficulty level questions and then layer in the harder ones as you go. If you're already at a 700 or close to it, then only filter to the difficult questions. Also in week 1, you should start studying SAT vocabulary words. I will make sure to put a link in the description below for common like roots, prefixes, and suffixes that you can put together to make SAT words. It's much easier, in my opinion, to understand linguistics and the parts of a word to be able to figure out their meaning versus having to memorize a ton of different words and their definitions. Now, if you're focusing on math, you should start a math cheat sheet in week 1. So anytime you encounter a question and you don't know how to do it, and then you read the answer explanation and you learn what concept is needed, add it to the math cheat sheet and start studying that daily. If in week 1 you're completing all these steps and you're noticing that you are still struggling with your weak questions and you can't seem to figure out why, you may need some extra help. So get a tutor or sign up for an online course or something like that. I have a great online self-paced course for the digital SAT English portions, so I will link that right up here right now. Okay, in week 2, you should still be doing everything you were doing in week 1, but now you're gonna be layering on full-length practice tests. Now, if you're a paper test student, then I would recommend only practicing out of tests that were released in the past 2 years. So only look at tests from 2023 and tests from 2022 because the math concepts have changed a lot and you want to see what has trended recently and make sure you have those concepts down. I will link down below to where you can access tests that were released in the past 2 years. All right, guys, in weeks 3 and 4, you should be doing everything you were doing in weeks 1 and 2. Now, if you're taking more full-length practice tests and you're going over them after, you may uncover additional weaknesses, which means you'll have to loop back to the question bank and make sure you practice those question categories as well. The one other thing you need to implement in weeks 3 and 4 that is super important is getting your mentality in the right place. Because as the test gets closer, you might start feeling some anxiety or angst over the test, especially if you have a lofty goal or you're really desiring to get into a competitive program. You're gonna put a lot of pressure on yourself when you go in there. And guys, a little anxiety is normal and okay, but too much anxiety is debilitating and it's going to mess with your performance. So what I need you to do is to first realize that when you go into the test, you are going to get stuck. It's a natural part of the process. As a test prep coach who goes and sits in on tests regularly, I get stuck, you guys, and I do this for a living. It's totally okay. Just know in advance and get your mindset ready for those moments. And if you get to a question and you're not sure how to handle it, calmly dot it, walk away, come back to it later. When you come back to it later, I promise you, you will have a fresh perspective and you'll be able to see it from a different angle and it will give you a way better chance of getting the question right. You can also do deep breathing exercises, meditating, whatever it takes to get you in a relaxed frame of mind. I also think it's going to be important for you to have at least 2 or 3 practices where you're hitting your goal, because that will demonstrate to you that you can do it when you go in on test day, and it's also going to boost your confidence. And let's face it, if you feel confident on test day, you're going to do much better. I'm just curious, do you guys feel anxious about this test coming up? Comment below and let me know how you're feeling about the November test and also what you do to help with any anxiety issues you might have. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you follow my prep plan to a T. I promise you are going to see amazing results. And until next time, happy prepping.